What is up, guys? It is your boy Smurfy here with another video on the NFL preseason. Just wanted to cover the New Orleans Saints Jacksonville Jaguars preseason game that just happened earlier this morning. Want to give you my thoughts on it. Wanted to see our takeaways and what is the standing of the Saints currently as we stand. So I watched the game. Overall, that was a fine game. With some position groups, some other ones are a little worrisome. So one thing you take away from these two games in preseason for the Saints is our starters are good. It is our depth that is so scary that we are one injury, which we are already in that with our offensive line, away from like all of our position groups from just being in a total a shit show, to be honest. Like, oh my, I'm so sorry, I'm dealing with something, so I'm sorry if I'm like smacking my gums or whatever. I might need to open up this drink real quick so I can talk normally throughout, but right, so let's go down position by position as we have it here on the box score. QB play, it was kind of interesting because I felt like they both flipped, right? You had a okay but not like great performance from Chuck, and then you had a great performance from Rattler, kind of like how flipped it was last week. You had a great performance from Chuck and like performance from Rattler, same thing. I think Rattler did have a little bit better day here than Chuck did last week, just because I think the pick that he got, a lot of people, and it makes sense, on that slant route, that was kind of on the receiver selling that. That wasn't him making necessarily a bad read or a bad choice from what Moore was saying, because that was like the right read. It was just the route, and then the player made a play on it. He made a good play. So, is it bad timing? Yeah, it's a pick. So, don't get me wrong. Still bad, but I don't think it's as egregious as the pick that was thrown by Chuck last week. But also in tune, he has a fumble as well, so we have to take into consideration. Chuck did have intentional grounding. That could have been a disaster, but anyway, I think they both played honestly fine. Here's the problem I have. It's not even the QB play currently. Yeah, they have to be a little bit more consistent, but I don't fully blame the quarterbacks. And here's the thing I don't think people are being fair on both sides, is this offensive line is scary as fuck. Because, like, last week it was Radens giving Rattler problems in the opening drives. This week it was Ruiz giving Chuck problems. So it's just like, I don't fully blame the QB play, to be honest. I think it's a close game, but I think there's some throws that they could be want back and stuff like that, and their performances are going back. But a lot of it is coming down to right now is the offensive line play is just so bad, and that's where I'm kind of leaning towards Rattler for that reason. Not because he's more athletic than Chuck, 'cause I don't think that's the case. I think he knows how to use his athleticism better than Chuck currently, especially when it comes to pressure and dealing with those pressures. I mean, there's a chance that Rattler does have like last week where he didn't really count for the guy and he fumbles the ball there. But then you see him like today, his first second throw he made, I think it was, he got just smoked, but then made a fucking dart on that pass. So he'll take a hit, but he'll get the ball there. Chuck, I don't think is as willing to throw the ball as he like to be able to just be like, oh, I'm gonna take a hit here, but I'm gonna throw the ball and get off a dot. And I think that's something he needs to work on. That's why I'm leaning towards Rattler currently, because I don't think he has better arm than Chuck by any means. I think his arm is still great, don't get me wrong. But I do think that part of his game alone should make him the starter for week 1. Just because he can throw a pass while he's about to get hit, and the way this line is looking, it's awful. Like, I'm not really confident in our starting starting five on the offensive line. I like our tackles. You know, they struggled against apparently the Rams in practice. That's still, like, it's not saying much because that's a really good defensive line, to be honest. And I thought they played fine last week and this week. So Fuaga and Banks, great. Love them. Penning actually wasn't terrible. He's hurt, though, so that is where now we come to the issue. McCoy didn't play this week, which is fine. We had Simpkin, who honestly looks better than Weez did this week, and he looked better than Radens last week. So I kind of like him and his depth there. Landon was okay, I thought. But our starting five with it being Ruiz right now, Ruiz is giving me worry, and Radens is giving me worry as our backup guard / tackle. So, like, I don't with Penning out right now, we have a hole at left guard, and we have Ruiz at right guard. So we're assuming he is starting, and we cannot have Radens and Ruiz starting both right now. It seems they both have back-to-back bad weeks. Radens wasn't as bad this week, and I don't think Ruiz was as bad as he was last week. But they were both still bad. So that is the biggest problem right now, which kind of pisses me off a little bit because in the draft they didn't really address offensive line besides the first pick. I thought they should have double dipped with their third pick or second pick. They took Shuck and they took Sanker. I think it was Sanker at least. With their third pick, which I don't fault it. The pick looks good, to be honest. I love Sanker, to be honest. But we need linemen. It is such an aggressive need. It's such an egregious need that we had to address for 2 years straight, and we have not been aggressive in getting that line play up. There's still some people that could potentially break out or be good for us, like Ezrim. Is it Isaiah Ezrim or whatever? The guy we got last year. Sorry if I didn't get your name right. I'll be better next time. But he wasn't terrible at all. I think he played fine. I mean, he's going against 2s and 3s, so it's not like anything crazy. But I liked him. But we already have tackles, so I thought Landon Young was fine too, to be honest. But it's our interior guards right now that are giving me a lot of worry because Simpkin did play really well. He had the one penalty, but I have confidence in him right now more than Ruiz at this point in time, which is worrisome because Ruiz we've invested a lot into. So that will make or break our season right now is our offensive line health. Rushing. Velus Jones actually been really nice. I actually like Velus Jones a lot. I think he's making 53 for sure. I think it's Kendra Miller, Spencer Rattler, and I think they're bringing Clyde. I think those are the four. Sorry. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I said that. I meant to say Alvin Kamara, Velus Jones, Kendra Miller, and Clyde Rozier. Not Spencer Rattler, even though he has been the best so far between the two quarterbacks for rushing the ball and the most likely to rush. He's been pretty efficient with it, to be honest. So I do like our running backs. Now it's just a line. It's so bad. Like Kendrick Miller, especially. Like this 3.5 does not show like how good he actually was today. That 3.5 is just not real because he was getting contact like in the backfield and he was still getting yards off of it. And he had one run that would have put him like at like 30 plus yards, like around 30, 35 yards. They got taken back because of a hold. So again, it's just like I think our running back room should be pretty good this year. I like Velos. I like his burst off that and like versatility at receiver because the other problem comes down to here. The depth here is super worrisome, right? Because Tipton was great. Don't get me wrong. Love Tipton. Pettis, he had a good game today. Don't get me wrong, but he's also had some drops. And I'm not big on it. But I still like him enough to have him on the roster. But then after that, dude, like where the fuck is everybody else, dude? I mean, Trenton Wells seems like a good tight end backup, sure, but there's no one else on this receiving core that's going to give us anything else. You can clearly see here that there's not another receiver besides Olave, who had a drop, which is pretty, and then that's it. And Cedric Wilson. Even Cedric Wilson was not too impressive for me. These last 2 games, he's not been too impressive. Mason Tipton's been the most impressive receiver after like the initial 3. Of course, going to be our starters between Cooks, Olave, and Shaheed. So to me, it's Tipton at 4. Cedric, I guess, will be probably a 5 or 4. He'll probably be 4 because he can block pretty well. But, dude, it's just like, I don't trust this receiving room at all currently. So that's why you see a lot of, like, work to, like, the tight ends and the running backs right now. It's interesting, actually. So, as far as defense goes, I thought they played okay. The secondary played okay. The D-line and linebackers, I'm still worried. The linebackers, I like don't get me wrong, I like linebackers, but it's just the running game that's still, like, if we have any injuries on the D-line, we are going to give you Swiss cheese. Like, again, because they were getting every single run they got was, like, 5 yards. It was insane. It was, like, because you can go look over, actually, here, right? Like, this Tooting only having 3.5 is actually kind of crazy, but then, look, 8 yards per carry, 9 yards per carry. Rough game for this boy. 1.8 is kind of crazy. 3 yards. It didn't even feel like that at the time. I ain't gonna lie. Especially at 3.5 is actually super surprising, but it felt like it was this every time. 4 or 5 yards, man. Like 4 or 5 yards every time is what it felt like. And they were getting anything they wanted in the run game, which made all their passing downs super efficient. As you can see here, they were fairly efficient passing the ball. Look at Trevor Lawrence and Nick Mullins' stats. Only 3 missed passes, 2 missed passes. It was until they got to like the really down the dumps. I mean, you saw the inefficiencies there, which is probably where this comes from. So that's where I'm saying, like, our team right now as a whole, I think we have a good enough starting roster to compete. However, we have 0 depth. There's just I have no confidence outside of our initial 22 starters that we can compete in games if there's an injury that goes down, especially Eric McCoy. Simpkin did give me some confidence because I thought he played relatively well today. He played with the ones today on offense. I thought he played well at center, to be honest. He looked pretty good. He had that one hold again, but again, it's one hold after 2 games. So I'll take that all day. I thought Tipton stepped up big time. I think he'll be a big piece for us, to be honest. Um, I would personally start Rattler first, just because I'm also more of a proponent of like using your rookie into games. I'm still like, if you watched the Chiefs and how they got Patrick Mahomes into the league, I thought they did it the correct manner, right? You basically ran with Alex Smith until you couldn't, right? And then he ran Mahomes, and that allowed him for him to get accustomed to the system, allowed him to kind of like get into a rhythm early. And then to me, QB play is all about confidence, right? If you're confident in your coach and your system and yourself, you're going to succeed in the NFL. You can make those, you can make those throws. You're going to act like you make those throws. But when you get apprehensive, is when you make mistakes, which is why I think Chuck struggled this game. Is just because it wasn't his like not confidence in himself or anything like that. I think it was just the pressure, which made it worse for him to be able to like feel like I can just throw the ball right now and not be a pick. You know what I'm saying? So he would hold it, and that would cause him to either like he tripped over himself a little bit, wasn't too sure on it. Could have made a quick pass. It would have been a quick pass. Don't get me wrong, but I think it was that hesitancy to throw the ball is what cost him there. But it's all about confidence. So what I want from him is I just want him to be able to sit behind somebody to watch him play. They have a very similar skill set, so just sit behind Rattler. Even though it's not like I don't think it's a big difference in skill gap, I wanted to watch from the sidelines first and then ease into it towards the game where it's like really winnable, or it's like or Rattler's just too bad, and it's like a good switch up for him where they having game plan for Shuck, and then he can come in there, get some good reps under there. Maybe not get the win, but get some good reps, or get the win too. That'd be nice. And then just go from there and see more from there. Because that's how I think Mahomes did it really well. If I remember, it was kind of the case for Lamar. I can't remember fully. But I just know it's a method that I'm behind it on. Like I was behind it when Tyrod Taylor was the Chargers quarterback for a little bit. Until they cut it early. Because, you don't want to put all that pressure on him week one. And it's his first game ever. And then it's just like, it's a lot of pressure to put on your quarterback. And quarterback is such a confidence-based sport. Look at Geno Smith. It took him forever to get back in the league and hoop. Because he was on the Jets, and then they just kind of ruined him. Because a lot of people go in there with the expectation that they have to be the best quarterback already out there first pick, which is true. I mean, you put a lot of value into it, but you want to give them you want to put your franchise in the best position possible. And to me, it's not starting your guy week one. It is letting him watch, learn a bit, and finding the right time to get him in there to get some easy reps, maybe some easy wins, and build up that confidence so he can just go from there on and have a good career. I think that's what it comes down to. I think that's the difference, in my opinion. Like, look at Bryce Young. He's still struggling. He's not a bad quarterback. In my opinion, he's not a bad player, right? I think his confidence in his offensive line, his confidence in himself was shook, especially his first few years. He's just now trying to get back with a new system that allowed for him to kind of like get into a groove. And they didn't get into a groove until super late in the season last year, and they played really well. So, refreshing. So that's why I'm starting Rattler. Shuck does have the better arm for sure, but their arms are both super good. I think they're both like not great. They're great. They're great arms. They're not elite arms, but they're great arms. I think they're like above average league arms for sure. They can get the tight windows. They make plays off platform throws, and I think they're both on that option. I like the fact that they're both kind of the same prototype because they're both on the team anyway. So whatever you do on offense should feel the same, should be the same because they're the same player in a way, right? So I'm leaning towards that, and then the whole thing is with I think Kinderman finally has kind of gotten to a spot where he could replace Kamara or help Kamara out, and so he can be more efficient. And honestly, Clyde looked fantastic today. I'm not gonna lie, it was against 2s and 3s. Don't get me wrong, but like he looked like he reminded me of like old LSU Clyde, where it was like he would look for contact, bounce off contact, had good hands. So I think he's gonna have his own little. He didn't have like great yards. He was 4 of 12 for 3 average, which isn't like crazy. Fields was averaging 7 yards. But I think that combination of those groups, that group of running backs, will be great for us long term. So I think we have a solid running back room right now. But oh my god, I am so worried about receivers, especially with Olave. If he gets hurt, dude, I'm already not big on running cooks. I don't know what he's got left in the tank. Tipton looks good, but he also made some mistakes. More like mental mistakes than actual like play. Because look at his fucking stats. I mean, he's been crazy, to be honest, for 2 games. But it's just the small stuff, like the pick that leads to Rattler, right? That was an issue. And then last year he was good. He had the injuries, right? So it's just a lot of stuff that, and then sometimes it's just like more of like a game plan perspective of him learning that stuff and like be more of a vet will be an issue. Will be like the learning curve for him, I think, not the actual talent, and then just staying healthy. And that's gonna be the theme of our receiving core. Because again, if one of our players gets hurt, that leaves us so down bad if someone else gets hurt. And we already have an old Brandon Cooks. We have a essentially injury-prone Olave, and we have Rashid Shaheed coming off of a knee injury. So that's not a great combination to not expect an injury this year. So I wish, like I saw the Mechie trade, I wish the Saints had made that fucking trade because they need the depth, they need the receiver there. Mechie would have been probably our receiver 3 to be honest. I'm just gonna be honest. He probably been receiver 3 for us. He looks good. He's like he's got good size to him, good hands, great talent. So it's just like it is what it is. Like they're not being aggressive. They also want to hold on to their picks, which I get it because these 2 drafts afterwards are gonna be pretty good drafts too. But you kind of need a solution now versus hoping to hit on anybody later. And also it makes me mad because you just think about it. You look back on this last draft and these last 2 drafts, and there were no rush to bring in no receivers, to draft any receivers, don't make any moves on receiver really. And same with offensive line, they would get like the pick that one that came with them. Like they would take and they took the chance on Salivary. He's trash. Like it's just one of those things. I'm like, you guys obviously didn't make it a mission to address the actual issues of the team. So now you put your quarterbacks, whoever starts, in a spot where it's gonna be like last year, where like for Rattler, it was a bunch of fucking mailmen at receiver for him having to catch the ball. And to me, that's just super unfair for any young player to do. And now you're putting potentially both your guys in that same position again this year because of potential injury. And you know what's the Saints, so we're gonna have injuries. So it's just like I don't know how to feel about the season. I feel less confident after this game just because of the depth is just so fucking awful, especially on D line and corner. And corner now, they played pretty well on corner. I mean, they had their way with us on offense, to be honest, for yards. More than I would have liked, but I still believe in the corners that we have drafted and the ones that have showcased flashes. It's just unfortunately, yeah, Lante Taylor's out right now. It's just Kool-Aid, and after that, it's a bunch of unproven talent, and then like Isaac Yadam, who's good for us, don't get me wrong. But Ugomadi had a great game, by the way. I want to shout him out. When he's in a Saints uniform, he plays like a different player. Like I watched him when he was on the Niners. Total like he was not good. Like he wasn't great when he was with I think the Raiders before us the first time, but then. We put on a Saints uni, he just gets a skill buff. He gets a boost. I don't know what it is. He gets a boost. That he's nice. I like him a lot. I also want to shout out Jonas Sanker. That dude had a great game. I thought even the pass that like went to him in his direction that got caught by the tight end was just a good throw and a good catch because he had great coverage on there, to be honest. He looks super athletic, had a great pick with great hands. I mean, like it was bounced. It was like a ricochet pass, but a lot of times, you know, if you don't have good hands, you're not ready for that. You're not going to make the catch. I feel like that happened to us last year sometimes and the year before that. So it's good to see us actually get an interception off of it this time. Stutzman, dog. Give me Stutzman all day. He saved the tackle on a deep run by, I think it was Tootin, or was it Bigsby? Forward, up and down day, but he did have a great, I think he got some pressure on the quarterback, and then he also got that pick, which was a nice read on his part too, so I love that for him. Stallbird had that one catch that he allowed, but like he was good. Stallbird is actually really, really nice. Get Foskey off the roster, by the way. I cannot stand this man. Watching him, he gets stuffed so easily and so quick. Like he is relying on his athleticism to get past people, and he's not that athletic, so he's just getting past people. To be honest, I realize I was over 18 minutes now, so I'll make this quick. But I also wanted to shout out Rico Payton because I thought he's been really, really solid for the most part throughout training camp, like he was last year. So I'm hoping that, you know, if we need to call up on his number, which we might soon, that, you know, that he can hoop with the ones. So, yeah. So this is it for the video. Let me know what y'all thought in the comment section. Let me know who y'all thought were your 5 favorite preseason players this week. Let me know who your 5 maybe least favorite. Let me know who y'all thought won the QB battle so far. Who you think should be the starter. Let me know if you think I'm wrong on should Rattler start, just so he can ease in Shuck, even if he isn't the answer. Yeah, so let me know on all that. This has been Smurfy. I'll see you guys.